We're going to begin tonight with what experts say is the need for more housing in the coastal bend. Recently, Texas A&M Corpus Christi teamed up with the local Economic Development Corporation, the EDC, to survey residents throughout Nueces and San Patricio counties. And it found that people generally support the industrial growth that seems to be taking hold here, mainly because of the good jobs being created. But it also pointed up a serious problem. There aren't enough places for all those new employees to live. Our Taylor Adonis has more on this top story. Taylor?
Joe, researchers found that factors like Hurricane Harvey recovery, little housing supply, and the increase of jobs highlights that not only isn't there enough housing, but people can't afford the little there is. According to a survey from TMUCC and the South Texas Economic Development Center, $50 billion in industrial projects are being developed in the Corpus Christi ship channel. But
with all the jobs and population coming into our community, affordability of homes is actually becoming an issue.
The 15-question phone survey was recently given to a random selection of residents in Nueces and San Patricio counties.
We're always measuring what's happening in the local economy and getting the flavor for what people are looking to see in the future.
EDC President and CEO Ian Vassy says if we keep adding jobs, population, and homes at the same rate.
We're somewhere between around 1,000 to 1,500 new homes a year short in our entire community.
In the past, Corpus Christi would add about 2,000 homes a year, but since a construction peak in 2014, the number of new homes has decreased in Nueces County. And there is also a huge need for more apartments since Hurricane Harvey as people continue to rebuild their homes. And with less places to live, housing prices will continue to increase.
It's critically important that we look at policies to promote more home development and especially affordable.
And the EOC will turn that survey over to elected officials in hopes of seeing changes in policy that will help meet the growing needs in the area. Joe?
Taylor, thank you.